name's Angie Bernal.
My name is Giselle Medina.
My name is Tuli.
And we're all seniors at Loara High School.
And our civic action project is providing and educating high school students with contraceptive forms.
My name's Angie Bernal, and I'm going to go interview Mr. Brickley.
The question to me was about the rates of teen pregnancies on campus or on campuses and what impact they have on students as far as their academics and their opportunities beyond. Wow. Having a baby is a huge responsibility. It's a life changer. It can be a wonderful experience, but for kids still in high school, I can't even imagine how they can keep going to school and do all the things that are required of them and still be a parent. Some of our kids have done that with tremendous family support.
My name is Bailey, and I go to Loara High School. And I'm a senior.
Do you work?
Yeah, I work at Mama Coza's as a hostess.
Do you plan on going to college after high school? If so, where and what do you plan on studying?
Yeah, I got accepted into a cosmetology school called Kova Academy.
What emotions came to you when you realized you were going to be a mother?
At first, it was hard to believe because, I always felt like it was something that couldn't happen to me. And at first, I was just really, really, really scared. And then, eventually, I got less scared, but, it hasn't gotten much easier. I'm still scared sometimes, but it's gotten easier, I guess, to deal with.
Did you ever have people tell you that you weren't going to be able to do it?
Yeah, when my parents first found out, their reactions, they weren't the best. They kind of told me that, I couldn't go to college and that, I was going to end up doing it by myself. But, that was just, their initial reaction. So, but that was all, though. I never really had anyone else, be rude and, tell me things like that.
When you see other teens that aren't responsible having babies, how does it make you feel as a young mom?
It's really frustrating because they don't understand that, I don't even know how to describe it. They don't understand that, they weren't, privileged to have a child. Pretty much they were given a gift. They were, allowed to, raise someone and, just, be a mother, which is a gift in itself. And, they're totally taking advantage of that and, not doing what they're supposed to, not, giving their child what they deserve. So that just makes me mad. It's frustrating.
Okay. Tell us your view on school districts providing contraceptive forms for students.
I think it would be a good idea, if the nurse had it in the nurse's office and it was kind of discreet and they can just go ask for it, because some students don't have parents that would openly just give it to them. So.
Okay. If parents disagree with schools giving out contraceptive forms, should there be an opt-out form where their child is not allowed to receive those forms?
Yeah, I think maybe their freshman year, they can just get I guess a release form that's saying they can if they want to or they can't, and it has to be signed off by the parent if it's a big deal with the parents.
If you disagree to the section we are trying to do, what's a better thing?
I don't disagree. I think it's a good idea.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Do you feel comfortable talking about safe sex with your parents or sex in general?
Not really, because I'm not close with my family. We don't talk about those things.
Have you ever had sex without any contraceptive forms?
Yes.
Why didn't you use them?
Well, at the time I wasn't driving and I didn't have any money to get it.
Would you ever ask your parents for condoms if you had no other way of getting them?
No, because if I did, that's the day I die. They would totally not be okay with it. I'd rather just do it without it.
You needed condoms? Where would you get them?
I don't know. The pharmacy. But don't you have to be 18 to get one to buy them?
Have you ever had unprotected sex?
Yes.
Why?
It feels good.
Are you aware of the dangers of that?
No.
Why not?
I just never got into it.
But do you ever use a condom?
Whenever I have some.
And how often do you have some?
3 out of 7 days.
Have you ever had sexual intercourse without any contraceptive forms?
Yes.
Why'd you do it without anything?
I felt that there was no need to, and we didn't want to go buy some.
Have you ever had sexual intercourse without any contraceptive forms?
Yes.
Are you aware of the dangers of that?
No.
When and what did you learn about safe sex or sex in general and contraceptive forms?
Well, I took health class online, and I didn't really pay attention since it was online, and I didn't know anything about like contraceptive forms or where to get them or anything like that.
So what's your knowledge now on safe sex and contraceptive forms?
Well, now I don't really. It's still like an iffy thing. Like I don't really know much about it other than like the basics, but other than that, like I have no clue.
Have you ever had sexual intercourse without any contraceptive forms?
Yes.
Are you aware of the dangers of that, and why didn't you use any contraceptive forms?
No, because it feels good.
Have you ever had sexual intercourse without any contraceptive forms?
Yes.
And are you aware of the dangers of that?
No.
Why not?
Because I haven't done any research on that.
Have you ever talked to your parents about any of that? Are you comfortable with that?
No.
Why?
Because I'm scared that they will judge me.
Have you ever had sexual intercourse without any contraceptive forms?
Yeah.
Are you aware of the dangers of that?
Yeah, but if you're in a relationship with someone, then it's like not that dangerous, I guess.
So just because you have a title, it's not dangerous?
Okay, but it's like a long-term relationship.
Have you ever had sexual intercourse without a contraceptive form?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Like, I just had sex so much, like, it gets expensive buying them, like, all the time. So, like, you learn other methods.
If you needed contraceptive forms and schools provided them confidentially, would you get some?
Yeah.
Why?
Because then it's, like, safer.
Have you ever had sexual intercourse without a contraceptive form?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. I just didn't have one.
Are you comfortable talking about or asking your parents for some?
No.
Why is that?
My mom's a mean person to talk to.
Have you ever had sexual intercourse without any contraceptive forms?
Every other day.
Without any contraceptive forms, or do you ever use any contraceptive forms?
I never do.
If the school provided contraceptive forms confidentially, would you get some?
Yes.
So you would start having safe sex if it was easily accessible?
Yes.
Have you ever had a sexual intercourse without any contraceptive forms?
Yes.
Why didn't you use any?
Because we didn't have one.
And if the schools provided contraceptive forms confidentially, would you get one?
Yes.
Are you aware of the dangers of having sexual intercourse without any contraceptive forms?
No,
Why not?
because I was never taught about it, and talking to my parents like was never a thing, and I was really uncomfortable with that. So I would just talk to my friends about it, but that's not a really good idea to talk about with my friends.
How would your parents feel if they found out you were pregnant?
Honestly, I think they will have like a really bad reaction at the first time they hear me say that, but I don't think I could come to them and tell them. I feel like I would have to hide it away or like do something to get rid of the baby.
Would you continue your education?
If I was able to, but if it was putting like stress on the baby and me, then I would probably not continue my education.
My name's Angie Bernal and I'm a senior.
Are you sexually active?
No.
If you were, would you be comfortable talking about this topic with your parents?
No, that's just not a topic to be even brought up. It's just not comfortable.
Do you feel like the school gave you enough information about sex?
No, I think everyone says we learned it freshman year, but if you ask any senior right now or any sophomore or junior right now, like what they learned from it, like you won't even get a full sentence out of it.
We used SurveyMonkey to ask teens in our community about the following questions.
Do you know what contraceptive forms are? 79% said yes, 8% said no, 4% said I don't know, and 8% said they never heard of it. Should high school districts provide contraceptive forms to students?
91% said yes, 8% said no. If yes, explain why this would be a good suggestion.
One of the responses was, I think it would be helpful to provide students with this option because a lot of teens don't use these forms of contraceptive because they cannot acquire any. They don't have money, don't want to ask their parents, too embarrassed to buy them at stores, etc. So I think it would be a good idea to provide them so students can have that option.
Is it a parent's responsibility to discuss safe sex with their children/child? 83% said yes, 12% says no, 4% says I don't know.
If no, would you want your high school to discuss about safe sex in a classroom? Explain why you think that would be a good idea.
One response said, "The only reason I'm not comfortable talking with my parents about it is because I come from a Mexican family, and usually it is not talked about, more shunned upon. So I think it is extremely important to get the detailed information from someone who will also be willing to answer questions without judgments. Plus, it is easier than going to a doctor and somewhere else because some teens do not have health care or the time resources to go to other places."
Are you comfortable talking about sex with your parents or guardians?
33% said yes, 50% said no, and 16% said I don't know. How many teens do you know that are pregnant?
8% said none, 29% said 1 to 2, 20% said 3 to 4, and 41% said 5 and above.
So back then when you were in high school, were there teens your age that were getting pregnant?
Yes, many teens.
Did you wish schools back then and now touch upon the subject so teens in high school can be safe about what they are doing?
Absolutely. I think education is very important. I think students need to be informed and they should be guided towards Planned Parenthood, but I don't think it's the school's obligation, and I don't think it should be permitted on campus.
Even though abstinence is the most effective way of not having teens get pregnant, do you think it's better to be safe than not?
Absolutely. That's why I think it's important that they're educated and they know what could happen and what are the risks. But again, I don't believe in having Planned Parenthood on campus, but yet I do think there should be somewhere where they could go on campus where they would tell them this is where you can go for contraceptives.
If parents do not agree to high schools providing contraceptive forms, do you think having an opt form where their child specifically cannot receive them would be a good suggestion? If not, should it be confidential where the forms are placed in the restrooms?
I'm not sure about having them placed in the restrooms, but that's a tough one. Because I have daughters and I would like to know what's going on, but I realize it's California law that they are allowed to be provided with contraceptives, and so that's a tough question. I'm not sure about that. Just on a personal opinion, I think that in the United States we need to be more open to birth control, and I don't think you should need a prescription, because in countries where they don't need prescriptions, less women are getting pregnant and having abortions, so I think that's a better option.
Yes.
Dear Grace, my name is Angie Bernal, and I am currently a senior at Loara High School. Mr. Brookele gave my group and I your email to ask a few questions regarding contraceptive forms, if that is okay. For the Civic project, we are focusing on students having access to contraceptive forms at school confidentially. And if that doesn't work, we at least want to encourage the AUHSD to have their students gain a further knowledge on safe sex. I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you. Angie Bernal.
This is the Office of the Board of Education of the San Francisco Unified School District. We welcome your call, so feel free to leave a message. If a return call is necessary, it will be done so as soon as possible. Thank you. At the tone, record your message. When you are finished recording, you may hang up or dial pound.
Hi, my name is Angie Bernal. I am currently a senior at Loara High School in Anaheim, California. And I had a couple questions regarding the contraceptive forms you provide for your middle school in your district. And I'd really appreciate if you gave me a call back at 714.
My name is Jennifer Flores and I'm a senior. Overall, our project is to have high school districts educate students about safe sex, because providing contraceptive forms is very sensitive and controversial issue to be provided at school. Also because it interferes with religion and other conflicts. Based on this project, we learned that most students do know what contraceptive forms are, but choose to feel pleasure rather than being safe. and we want to inform students that there are consequences that come along, because it's always better to be safe than sorry.